What's good, Internet? It's Kamal from Penn Music Journalism. This is our second podcast, and to start off, we're going to ask everybody what they've been listening to recently. To start off, I've been getting into a lot more City Morgue, which is like this rap group that makes like metal trap, quote unquote, and they're really edgy and obnoxious, and so far I love it, and yeah.
So I'm Abhinav. I'm also one of the heads of music journalism. So I was on a bit of a Kanye hiatus, I guess. I hadn't listened to him since December, and now I'm getting back on him again. Late Registration, Life of Pablo. I got introduced to No Name. She's really good. I like her a lot. Probably maybe my favorite female artist, or my favorite female rapper. Still into Mike, Lawson Malone, and I've been getting into Uzi, Love is Rage 2 a little bit more.
Nice. My name's Hamid. I'm just a regular member, no executive. And recently I've been listening to this brass band. They do like some electronic music. It's called Brass Tracks. Pretty good. Also listening to this band Monophonics. Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, I'm T. I've just been listening to things from the Grammys to see why exactly their music, got there, I guess. I don't know. Tyler, for example, some of the songs I liked, just listening to, That's really it, though.
My name is Bailey, and I bounce around a lot between songs I like or artists I listen to, but lately the two that I've been juggling between would be Alec Benjamin and Jack Stauber. Alec Benjamin makes, acoustic, really kind of vibe songs. It's the one word I can think of to describe it. Gotta Be a Reason, Let Me Down Slowly, Outrunning Karma, and Boy in a Bubble. And then Jack Stauber makes songs like Buttercup, Two Time, and that's the only two I can think of right now, but yeah, they're completely different. Alec Benjamin makes the really kind of soft but upbeat songs, and then Jack Stauber makes these honestly kind of strange sounding songs. They don't sound like music. It's weird and kind of concerning, but you know what? It's still good.
My name is Elizabeth. Recently, I've been listening to people like Hole and Sonic Youth. It's not really my favorite things, but
I'm Lena. Let's see, lately I've been listening to Joji came out with a song a week ago, Run. It's more alternative, and I really like it. Been listening to that a lot, and then I haven't really gotten into Kanye before, and I don't know, I've been trying to find new music to listen to, and I started listening to Yeezus. I really like it a lot, so yeah.
Alrighty, and so first question out of the way. Our second question is, what do we think about the Grammy nominations? So to start off, if you guys haven't heard, Tyler, the Creator, he won Best Rap Album. After he won the Grammys, he had a speech or an interview about how he felt like his album wasn't fit for the rap category. It's a pretty, I guess, defining moment of the Grammys, because it showed that, the Grammys sometimes they really don't know what they're doing. He was talking about how pretty much his album was so diverse, it wasn't really rap. He was singing a lot, he was harmonizing a lot, and yet they categorized it as rap or quote unquote urban. And he was basically saying that this is a politically correct way to be racist or to marginalize Black people music. And it was a really interesting take. So as far as nominations go, I feel like for rap, Tyler's album should have been pop, but yeah. What do you guys have to say about just anything?
So I knew coming into this that we would be talking about his speech he gave afterwards, because I talked about it a lot, because it really stuck with me, because I thought about when Lil Nas X's Old Town Road song came out a year ago. They took it off the country charts because they're this isn't country, and it sure, you can say it's pop, but it's country. And a lot of people they just push specifically Black people, they try to push them away out of their own category. And I don't know, I just really been thinking about it lately, because it's very disappointing, and it's just something I didn't realize is major issue in like the music industry that they're just like pushing these people into like categories that they aren't.
And something like really interesting too is that like even if you look on like Apple Music, there's like a category called hip hop / R&B.
Yeah.
And there's such different things, but historically both of them are more like black types of music. They originated from like the African American community, but they still like clump them together. Like imagine putting pop and rock together, or like putting like two other completely different genres together. It's like it kind of doesn't do it justice. And like you said, it's like Kamal said, it's like they're trying to like push them away and just give them prizes so that they'll kind of like leave. And then for the majority, which is like, I guess like not people of color, they are allowed to like allocate like different genres. And then that's where the diversity comes out. And just going to maybe like a few more things that the Grammys are actually, any of you want to comment on that either?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on Lizzo's nomination for Urban Contemporary Album.
That doesn't make sense. What does urban mean? What does that mean?
What is that?
It's a curious decision on the part of the Grammys. I really don't think it makes sense at all. Like there could be an argument made that some of her stuff is R&B. But it's what is urban contemporary and why is Lizzo in that group?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make sense
She's
to me.
like pop. Like
Yeah, and then Steve Lacy was put on that too. But like, how is Steve Lacy like what is urban? Okay, what how do you define that?
well, I mean, from Tyler's speech, he literally said it's a politically correct genre to say the N-word. Like that's literally what he said, and like I hate to say it, but like it's true. Like that's what they're doing. They're just it's very racist. It makes me.
What do you guys have to say about this?
Yeah, they chose Tyler for rap. It didn't really make sense to me,
Yeah.
but you know.
I think they're just out of touch with music in general.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the other genres like rock and like jazz and stuff like that, well maybe not jazz. I'm not so too familiar with jazz, but like rock and metal, like I feel like they're not really in touch with the acts that are artistically like influential. Like it's all a numbers game at the end of the day. You know, you can't really like I don't know. Like the awards really mean nothing at this point.
And also, like, I don't like bringing in like race or politics into it, but like there are like white boomers like sitting at the head of these
Yeah.
corporations. Like at the end of the day, like the Grammys are a corporation. They're not like publicly sourced or anything. So
Like,
honestly, like yeah, like even if you think about it, like when you have like people who are born in like the 60s or like 50s, right? And they're like white. They grew up with like usually like white music, right? So they won't be able to relate to like the African American part of music, and then they'll just like kind of like push them aside, which is why it's so important to have like diversity and all this stuff in like the music industry, especially because it's like creative expression and there's so many different environments and backgrounds that make part of music that that all of them need to be represented at the end of the day.
Yeah, and like I wish there was more transparency too. Like I mean, we know they're white boomers, but like who are they? You know,
Exactly.
who are they?
And there was like one woman on the board of the Grammys, and then she got like kicked out.
Wait, really? Why?
Yeah, I
don't know
can't,
about this.
I can't remember exactly, but like she got kicked out, and then she started calling them out on it because she was like the only female to ever be on that board, like at all.
Oh yeah.
Like they just
Really?
kicked her out. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't watch the Grammys, but from what I'm hearing, it just sounds like the categories that they're putting people in is really off. And I think that just kind of goes with my opinion on how music is not good anymore. Like, they stopped making good music in 2017. Like, the last good song I heard that I liked at the time was Closer by the Chainsmokers. And then after that was released, there was nothing good.
Well, I think it depends. Like, do you hear it on the radio or?
Not anymore. They don't really play it because that was.
Well, no, I mean like the songs that you think are going downhill.
Yeah.
They're on the radio. I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
And
Pop
like
song.
also like I don't know. I feel like
Isn't that great?
pop. Like I mean, I was writing one of my articles for Instagram, and I saw this whole article. Like pop is just like short for popular. Like
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
even like
Makes sense.
it's just a group of music
notice-
that's like what people like most people listen to. Like pop. I don't know.
You notice like
That was
the
kinda
most
off track.
famous artists always have a song come out and then it becomes famous. You know,
Yeah.
Even though it sucks.
even if it sucks. Yeah, even if it's good. You know.
Wait, that's an interesting point about music not being good since 2017. I mean, like, as far as, like, I agree if you're talking about just the radio, but, like, I feel like to a big extent, you're on the spot, or, like, you're correct. Like, how I see it is, like, if you look at, like, award shows, like, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, like, the people who won were the big pop artists, but their songs, like, even though they were mainstream, they were still, like, I don't know how to describe it, but they were definitely different in terms of, like, you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, like, I just think, like, even with the Grammys and on, like, songs that you hear on the radio, they just play or nominate the, I guess, most popular singers, because that's, like, Ariana Grande or, you know, whoever. Even if they don't have a good song, you know.
I mean, I don't think music, like, as a whole has, you know, gotten worse. Maybe
Specifically pop.
Yeah, maybe just, like, maybe...
At least like the pop that's played on radio, maybe.
Yeah, some artists have, you know, gone
They
downhill.
play the same artists over and over. They don't let, like, new people come in. It's just, like,
Yeah.
all one person. Like, it's Ariana Grande song
Unless
after
they're
Ariana
featured.
Grande song. That's all I can think of is Ariana Grande, because that's all I hear on the radio, and it drives me insane.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, because, like, I feel like in 2016, and obviously music reflects, like, culture, right? Music reflects, like, cultural and societal shifts. I feel like 2016 was just, like, this huge cultural shift. Like, so much happened in 2016. And after that, I feel like just society in general went from, like, a very, like, practical world to, like, an idealist world. Like, even if you look at anything in like, from now, like, now people are okay with giving an entire committee, like, rights to, like, choose, like, whatever they feel is the best music, rather than have it being publicly sourced. Even if you look at something like YouTube Rewind, it used to be so relatable, and now, like, where is it gone? And even if you look at something like politics too, I mean, like, people, again, like, it's a very idealist nature that we have right now. People have to embody, like, ideals so much, and you can give complete responsibility to an entire committee, rather than actually having, like, a publicly sourced, like, democratic, like, whole, like, process through this.
And so I think this is, like, a good time to transition. Like, what do you think should change about music awards in the future? Or, like, how can we change the culture to be more representative of what good music is?
More opinions.
Yeah, people should vote, I guess. I don't know. People might be biased, but maybe they should vote.
I don't know. I just think overall, like, it's just gotten really bad with, like, I'll use this as an example. Like, did you guys see Justin Bieber? He, like, posted on his Instagram, like, how to get my new song, Yummy, number one. Like, it's all coming down to, like, stuff like that.
Competition.
That's, like, yeah, and, like, almost, like, forcing your fans to, like, I have to be number one, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, it's almost boils down to that, where when you're trying to, like, fix something like this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely the culture how it is currently, it's pretty much a numbers game. Like, if you have the numbers to back you up. I mean, that's why, like you said, the quality of, like, radio music has gone down. I feel like before, like, pre-streaming era, the radio was, like, the one time you were gonna hear that artist, right? So they had to make an impression. But now with the streaming era, you're not necessarily trying to make an impression, but you're trying to get something that's catchy and will stick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not sure if that makes sense, but yeah. And so how do we shift the culture from focusing on the numbers to, like, more on the art? Like, how do you think we do that?
I feel like that's a completely cultural thing. I don't feel like music can do anything with that, honestly. Like, I feel like people have to change, and for people to change from where they are right now is going to be really hard, just because, like, culture before, like, I would say 2016 was, like, the change. Before 2016, people were pretty, like, tolerant. People, at least they were, like, hiding their biases and prejudices. Now people are, like, way divisive, and, like, people are just, like, not willing to, like, consider other people's opinions. And I feel like when that happens, I feel like...
Called a hypocrite.
Exactly, yeah. I feel like that's, that kind of ruins a lot of the stuff. I mean, I do understand where you're coming from, like, how, like, a lot of the artists are the same, but, like, if we just see, like, every year there's usually, like, a few new artists that come along, like, DaBaby came along and Billie Eilish came along. And honestly, like, whether they're good or bad, they are still new. And, like, 2 years ago, they pretty much had nothing compared to what they have right now. And a lot of it is that there's just new streaming services. Like, if you think about, like, TikTok, like TikTok is such a big source for like popularity. Like if you get on TikTok, then your song could go from like 20,000 to like 1 million in just like a few days. Like it's crazy what that can do to it. And also like there's just like a bunch of other stuff that go into it. And I feel like it's also easier to access new artists, which is why I feel like new artists are getting onto the radio at a faster rate than
They're
before.
more known than old artists. Like they're just kind of left behind. Like you, it's not like you hear a song you like on the radio by an artist and you're like, oh, I'm gonna check into their songs. It's just the same people that you already know.
Yeah.
Like Ariana Grande.
I don't know. I saw a thing about Selena Gomez. I've not thought about Selena Gomez, but she's like one of like the most streamed people every day on Spotify, and everyone's like, dude, like no one really like listens to her that much. Like it's kind of surprising to see that she's like the most streamed person.
That was the same thing with Cardi B last year. Like, honestly, don't know anybody that likes Cardi B.
Yeah, from the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Like, I don't know anybody that like
Intentionally.
actually like is like a big Cardi B fan. Like, I understand like the whole like queen energy around her, but the thing is that this didn't happen with Nicki Minaj either. You don't hear Nicki Minaj on the radio, and they're both like equally like. You see what I'm saying? You see?
Yeah, I like Nicki Minaj better, to be honest. Like her
Nicki
music.
Minaj.
Yeah, really.
I have to throw in some comedy.
Right. But I don't know, in my opinion, like, her music was more, you know, how do I say it? Like, I don't want to say better, but, like, I think more people liked it. I don't know.
But you just said, like,
I mean, I know, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't really know.
What do you guys think of Lil Nas X?
Dude, okay, I like him. I like him, and like as much as probably like I would hate to say it, I think he's a good guy. And like he literally came from like nothing, like, and that's what's so surprising. But like, I just remember a year ago when his song finally started getting like really popular, and that's when he started being #1. They took him off the country charts because they're like, he's not country, he's like pop or like urban or something like that. And it's like, what the heck? Like, you hear like some of these like pop country songs on the radio, I would be like, yeah, that is country. Like, I don't know, I just think he's also like, even though he's just getting popular like now, like I feel like he's already getting pushed under the rug.
Well, country from, you know, even like 2014 was very different from what it is now. It's more pop oriented now, I think. But you know, like he should have stayed on there, I think, because you know it's more of like modern, you know, what country.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like that one song. It's like roll my windows down, cruise. Like that is country, like pop. Like I feel like it's like that would go in the same category, but apparently it doesn't.
What do you guys think about Billie winning? Like, was it record of the year or album?
Didn't
of
she
the
win
year?
like 6?
Yeah, she won a bunch,
5.
but
She won 5, and her brother won 5 because he's like her producer. He won like Grammys for like producing.
yeah. What do y'all think about that?
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's pretty well deserved. She was like
Yeah.
probably like the most standout artist of this year, in my opinion. Even though there was other like good artists and good songs that came out, hers is just like really out there. It was just completely original. Nothing like I've never heard anything like
Yeah,
what she released
and
before.
sorry, oh my gosh, what was I gonna say?
I can jump in if you
Yeah,
want.
you're fine.
Okay. She's like, okay, for one, she's really edgy and she makes a lot of kids goth and like, you know, it makes the middle school teens like, oh, her songs are so sad, I'm crying. I mean, I'm not dissing her. Well, I mean, it's, you know, on the border of dissing her and complimenting her, I guess. I like her music. Not a huge fan, but there's like a couple songs that I would listen to. But it's definitely a different style of pop music. It's like, I would say anti-pop, but in terms of like mood-wise, it's like dark and depressing because, you know, sadness.
Yeah, like when her songs come out on the radio, like you notice them, you know.
Yeah, that's what so like I work at a retail store where all I hear all day are the same pop songs, and hers would come on and be completely different than anything else that's playing on the radio. But what I was gonna say is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but like while like the awards were going on during the Grammys, she would be sitting there like mouthing like, "No, I don't want to win."
Yeah,
Because
I saw that.
there's so much backlash that comes to like stealing away like a bunch of. I wouldn't even call it stealing away, but that's what some people see it as. It's like this. There's always one really good artist every year that seems to take away
They
like
need to share.
a decent amount of awards. Like I don't know, one year was Taylor Swift, another year was Adele, and
She was like 17.
and it's
She
like
is.
really upsetting to see like cancel culture come out and be like she didn't deserve it, like Ariana deserved it or Lizzo deserved it, and I just thought that was kind of like disappointing that like she didn't want to win.
Wait, what were the 5 that she won? You know,
I think she won like Song of the Year, Album of the Year.
She won Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist.
Yeah.
There's one more, right?
There
Yeah,
should
I can
be.
find
I know she won. I know it was like 5 and 5 each because I remember seeing the picture of her and her brother standing there, and I remember because I watched the entire Grammys and on Twitter a lot of people were like, please do not like hate on her. She can't. It's out of her control of what she wins and what she doesn't win, and you should be blaming the Academy if you're upset, not her.
There's always those people who
Yeah.
just don't like, the choice.
Karen.
I mean, going back to your question, like, honestly, I think we can just do away with the award shows. Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, it's just a cash grab at this point. Like, they get a lot of money out of it, but the artists really don't get, like, that much out of it.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, big artists or small artists, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, they're not getting anything. They just run that show, they're like, okay, everyone go up on the stage, say your thing, and then come out, and then we get a bunch of money from it, so.
Yeah, like I don't. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I was gonna say like I don't look at a new artist and I'm like, oh, let me see what they won, and just get hooked, So it doesn't really matter.
I feel like, especially like when I was younger, like I remember I would buy, because I know the Grammys comes out with like albums every year of like all the people like that won, and I feel like people used to listen to those quite a bit. I don't know about you guys, but I did. I remember when I was younger, I would like always want to hear like who won, and I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't know. I was very happy for Tyler, the Creator, because he truly deserved that recognition, and especially I was shocked that they allowed him to play, like have a performance, because he's so like different than everyone else. But besides that, it's just like same old. You expect the same thing every year. I mean, you can tell he's gonna win by listening to their songs on the radio.
Yeah, like Cosmo Sheldrake, he was in one of the iPhone advertisements. That's the only time I ever heard him was in that advertisement. And that's how I got hooked. But after that, like, he wasn't on the radio. He wasn't in any other advertisements. Like, he just suddenly became this really underrated artist again. Like, his one song was put on a really, I guess, popular commercial, and a couple people got onto it, but after that, they just kind of were like, okay, we're done here, moving on.
Yeah, I'm starting to find like commercial songs, like I'm like, hey, what's that song?
You just hear like that one song, and then you find this artist that like you wouldn't hear on the radio.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Lizzo?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know Lizzo?
No.
She makes like pretty good music, I guess.
Yeah,
but-
she's like this pop artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think that she's like just too much hype.
Yeah.
Pop, I probably
Yeah, she's like pretty charismatic. Her instrumentals are like pretty nice, I guess. Like I think she's refreshing in terms of music.
Who makes?
Not my type.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know the artist of that like one song, Dance Monkey?
Oh, like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Tones and I or something like that.
that song is whack.
Yeah, I didn't.
Honestly,
wait,
I don't
did
think
they
it's
win
that bad.
something?
I wouldn't say it's not bad. It's just weird.
No, they didn't win anything, but
There's
it was a
certain-
pretty big. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the top 50
I hear it on the
stream songs
radio
on like
a lot.
Snapchat, not Snapchat, Spotify now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it shot up.
I wouldn't listen
because
to it.
it's different. It's new.
To be honest, that's something I would laugh at.
It's a lot bigger internationally than it is here in the U.S.
I mean, this is something that just came to my mind. Like, Abhinav had this really interesting idea to or like a pretty valid idea to do away with award shows. I think a fairly an alternative we should consider is to just pay attention more to independent awards. So I know that, you know, like music media like Pitchfork, they give out like awards and recognition at the end of the year, and you know, like streaming services like Apple and Spotify, they do a little like playlist thing of like the best of 2019, 2020. I feel like we should pay more attention to independent music awards because I feel like they're less incentivized by the numbers game, if that makes sense. What do you guys think about that?
Well, this is a little different than what you said, but
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
I don't know. I agree. I do think there's certain awards that like they need to be like publicized more, and especially the Grammys. Like, I mean, if you really think about it, like the Grammys, like just like gives awards to people that like everyone knows their music already, like for the most part. And I just wish. I mean, it's a good. I want awards to be like a good way of people like discovering people and like finding good music and. Not just something we've all heard and we all expect for it to happen.
I think pop music would be good again if they made the songs more diverse, like from different artists. Like again with Ariana Grande, I don't want to hear like 3 songs of hers in a row. Like I would really appreciate it, because that's how you find new music. That's how you. I mean, otherwise you just find an artist by luck, by like an advertisement, or you stumble upon it on YouTube. Like, you know, they just don't get recognized enough. They just play like everybody. Okay, like I don't remember who said this, but someone did. But like everybody knows them. Like I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Ariana Grande is. It's like, but if you went up, you're like, hey, who's Cosmo Sheldrake? I'm sure a couple people would be like, huh? And I just think it's fair to put a couple of their songs out, because then, you know, that helps people find songs they like. And it just makes the radio more diverse, and I think pop would go up again if there were songs that more people could relate to on there.
Yeah, honestly, I think all of this goes back to the culture thing. Like, all of this, like, independent recognition, awards that recognize actually, like, different and unheard of artists, that type of thing, already exists for the most part. We just need to pay attention to them. And so, like, going back to the culture, it's just... the culture is so fixated on awards like the Grammys, but it's up to the listener to actually go and find the sources in the media that appeal to their interests.
And on top of that, like, I understand that it's the Grammys' opinion at the end of the day, but the thing is, it's not really an opinion. It's kind of like what will get like the most.
What will people approve of the most?
Exactly.
What made them the most money?
Exactly, yeah. What makes them the most money, what gives them the most viewing numbers, whatever. Because the thing is, I go on, like, there's like this one website called, like, rateyourmusic.com or whatever, and it's literally so old, it's, like, jank, like, it looks like it's from, like, the 90s, but, like, I, like, read it sometimes, and I'm, like, actually interested in those, like, because they don't get any money from it. If you go on, like, Reddit, like, if you go on, like, Rate Your Music, something like that, just, like, these random websites, even like Pitchfork, I'm pretty sure they don't get paid for it necessarily, right? They actually have like good reviews and they have good ratings. And even if you look at some like YouTubers like Anthony Fantano or whoever, like they don't get like any external like motivation other than like, oh, I just want to make a review and like have people like comment on it. But the Grammys is like, that's not an opinion. That's just like, how can I assess the market and see exactly what the market wants and then put that?
Yeah, I think the same with radio. You know, they try to appeal to the bigger audience.
Another quick thing is they're just like some artists on YouTube. They aren't heard on the radio, but they post their songs on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever, just on the kind of, you know, and a lot of people like them. For example, CG5 is one. JT Machinima, like some of those guys. I used to listen to their music, but I kind of grew out of it, to be honest. But like I said, a lot of people like that stuff, and I think it would be pretty great if there was either their own separate channel for that kind of stuff, or if they added it to what was on the like to the pop channels or whatever. Because like I keep going back to it, just needs to be more diverse. You hear the same thing.
Well, I mean, the thing with like complaining about radio only putting big hits on the radio is that all their monetary gain is derived from, you know, like listeners and viewership, and you have to have something that people know for people to tune in. So I don't really blame the radio for only promoting big music, but yeah, it's really on the people. If people want to diversify their music taste, then they should actively diversify it.
I was just about to say that, like, I feel like it's on the burden of the radio to, like, I don't think the radio should expose people to different songs. I mean, like, they can. There's probably some, like, niche radios that do that in, like, big cities like New York. Like, they'll have, like, an underground radio or whatever. But I feel like stuff like U93, like, I feel like it's not on them to, like, introduce people to new music. I think they just take the most played and then they just play it on their thing so that
makes the majority happy.
I mean, well, it has to make the majority happen because at the end of the day, like, it's not really that bad either because, I mean, you are making the majority happy, which is, like, a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, it's like, yeah. Because you wanna satisfy the most people. If you're gonna play something that's, like, a very, like, niche kind of thing, or like Earl Sweatshirt or something like that on the radio, people are not really going to approve of it. And not only are they not going to get money, like, people are just going to be, like, dissatisfied. So, like, to satisfy people, you're going to want to play the stuff that's already big.
Yeah, why do you guys think that they had Tyler, the Creator, perform? Because I mean, most young people were like, oh, that was so cool, it was so unique, like, what he did. But then, like, I would see, like, boomers, like, on Twitter be like, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, and those are the people that are watching for the most part. And I was very taken aback when I heard he was performing because, like, I've been to his concert and I'm like, oh yeah, I was shocked that they would allow him.
I've never been to a concert. I've seen Broadway, but that's
yeah. I bet his fans were like, yeah, but, like, new people might have been a little weirded out.
Yeah, a lot of people were weirded out from it.
It's just the matter of, you know, I guess what song he picked.
Well, like, I think the Grammy or, like, the Academy or whatever, they had him perform to, like, as a nod to address, like, the new music culture, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, like, the music on streaming, the new culture around, you know, just making diverse music. That was just a way of appeasing that demographic while still, you know, like, that's just one performance. They got a bunch of others to appeal to the boomers, so yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like after the backlash they got from Cardi B, like, they actually had to address, like, one of the big albums, like, last year, or not last year, I guess it was 2018 now. But everyone was like, Travis Scott got robbed of the Grammys, like, Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B really won the Grammys. And so everyone got mad, and they knew that, like, if they did not, like, make up for that, then people would just, like, go ham on them. So, like, I feel like also having him perform, again, like, just like what Tyler said, it's like pushing them to the side and being like, okay, you know what? We gave you your performance. Now we can move back to, like, the stuff that,
Ariana
you know.
Grande.
Yeah. Like, hey, look, we're diverse. Like,
yeah,
look.
like Token. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, also, we're at 34 minutes, so we gotta wrap this boy up. We're just gonna go around and say, like, a few last words for everybody. So for me, I'd just say that in conclusion, like, if we really want to change music awards, we have to change, like, the culture and the values of the listener first. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd agree with that, too. I don't really think I can add much, but I feel like we should move away from, like, idealism and stuff like this and move more to, like, practicality and, like, I guess introducing more artists. I feel like people should also look into more artists because Apple Music and Spotify don't really make it that easy to find, like, underground artists, but at least I know, like, SoundCloud is so good at that. I wish, like, new platforms might come on and do that because I feel like there's so many artists that don't, because it's an oversaturated market at this point, like SoundCloud and those types of, like, very, very free markets. So I feel like people should tune into that stuff and maybe, like, try to improve on that.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is, you know, pretty fair. I just, at the end of the day, I don't really care. However many accolades, like,
You say that a lot. No offense.
what?
You say at the end of the day.
Oh,
If
yeah,
it's
because
not-
I'm kind of like just like zoning out throughout the whole day, so I only remember the end of the day.
That's okay.
But yeah, at the end of the day, the amount of accolades a singer has isn't really going to change my opinion of their music or them. So I could care less about what the Grammys have to say.
Yeah, people will eventually get tired, you know. Maybe they'll find someone else and make them famous next. I don't know. I agree with, like, what has been said, really, you know, for the most part.
I don't like Ariana Grande. That's all I have to say.
I mean, I agree with like all of your statements. I mean, I think just something needs to change.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's relevant anymore, like, at all. Like, I mean, we all know who's probably gonna win, and
It's predictable.
it's very predictable. So, like, that's why I don't really think it's relevant. So, yeah.
Alrighty, that has been Penn Music Journalism. We're out. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Have a great day.
Listen to this, please.
Have a good end of the day.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, everyone needs to have a good end of the day.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everybody should have a good end of the day. Okay, bye.